So we have three broad programs. In fact, let me say we have four broad programs. The first is the PGP program, about which I will be talking in detail. Along with this, we have a CCC program, which is Crafting Creative Communication, which is a certification course. To top it, on the other extreme of PGP course, we have a fellowship program, which is equivalent to a PhD degree that a regular university would offer. While we do all of this, we also have a complete vertical of online program offerings coming from MICA. Now, getting to your question directly, which is about the postgraduate programs, there are two broad postgraduate programs that we offer. One is called the PGDM-C, which is the program that we had been running for a long while. And we recently, 2 years ago, introduced the PGDM program. A cue and a difference that everybody likes to know about: how is a PGDM and a PGDM-C different? They're largely same, aimed at the same industry. It's one of the reasons that we have these two programs is because we had to cater to the requirements of the regulatory bodies. There was an immense need from the market to grow our batch. 180 was a cap, and MICA and I completely take pride in saying that we are governed by an extremely ethical set of leaders. So we were sure that we are not playing hanky-panky. We went about straight, and the regulatory body said under a new nomenclature, you can float another group of students, and that's how PGDM came. But because PGDM came, it was time for us to think again. So we have this urban immersion, which is a 6-credit course, and this 6-credit course is a mandatory course for PGDM. The same 6-credit course is an optional course for PGDM-C, because the PGDM-C has another set of mandatory 6-credit course. So what it happens is it brings the students out to have the best of both the worlds. So whether you're a PGDM-C student or a PGDM student, you have both your offerings, one as a mandatory, and to somebody else it's an optional. So those are the two postgraduate programs that we offer. So the curriculum, it's an interesting thing, like a confluence of several streams that flow in. One are the regular classroom offerings that we have. And our classroom offerings, the first year, like most B schools, is a compulsory set of subjects that we have. The second year is a complete group of electives. But while I say that the first year is a complete set of compulsory courses, our mix of courses are extremely interesting. This connects to our vision and mission. We are not trying to create the jacketed manager who goes out and becomes a part of the assembly line. We're trying to create managers who can think. We're trying to create managers who are empathetic and rooted in the context with a global vision. So we have courses in culture, which are mandatory courses. We have a course in strategic communication. I lead that course, which is a mandatory course. In most other B schools, you will find a business management or a managerial communication course. We have courses in semiotics, which are very niche, specialized courses of perspective development. Apart from this, we have short and again mandatory courses, 0.5 credit courses, which are courses like trend spotting. We have a course which is not design thinking, but it is design doing, where it's not thinking, but you convert your thoughts into action and you actually go out and do something. Even a regular finance course in MICA is not really a finance course, but the course is called something like finance as it were, just how it should be for managers. So, and apart from that, all the regular offerings, the vanilla offerings that MBA has. So we have our courses in economics, but we will not have a course which is a consumer behavior, but a consumer insight marketing course. So our courses are definitely the regular courses with a dash, and this dash is the MICA dash that we have. Early on in the first year, we introduced them to a lot of immersions also, one of which is the urban immersion. large part of our courses, and when I say large, I mean a large and a very large part of our courses, are heavily backed by industry learning. Up in first year, like I mentioned, I'm running the course in strategic communication. Second year, my students have live projects. So we are not the typical 10-mark quiz done and over, but we could have a large 40-mark project divided into small portions of 10-mark each, which requires a client interaction. So multiple things happening at the same time very early on. And that's what makes our architecture of the course design very, very unique. And of course, our course is extremely agile and dynamic. We don't have our ego hang up in hanging on to a course saying, just because we are running it for a long while and it's getting a good feedback, let's going on. We do have this revision off and on. We have the advisory committee which pours into our thought process, frequent faculty retreats where we critique each other's courses. Our student body plays a very, very critical role in deciding how and what. So every time the student gets back from summers, they lend a feedback to our courses saying, this is what I struggled in the industry. Can we have this in the offering next year? And of course, because the focus is the student and the learning exercise, it's quickly imbibed into the next year course. And so that's how the updation process also happens.